Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust, episode 614. Starting off here in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. That's right. We're playing Minecraft Beta 1.7.3 because it's the last version of the game that included the Farlands, which is the ultimate destination we are heading west towards here with this episode. Coming right at your faces. And Saturday, October 15th, 2016, episode 614 for October 15th, 2016. Look at that flower. Look at that flower sitting there. But we got Wolf. Did we get Wolfie? We got Wolfie. We have our workbench, which we forgot previously in the last episode. It's a brand new workbench. We are ready to head west, and hopefully you all are. Wait a minute now. I've entered in the wrong number here. I've certainly very much so entered in the wrong number. I think I can approximate the number for the Child's Play charity donation over at farlandsorbust.com. I have 441,000. I know that's wrong. I think it's 41,000 because it used to be 41. Or no, it used to be 47. Wait a minute. Hold on. All right, I'm back. It is $41,474.47. That is how much we have raised this season of Farlands or Bust for Child's Play charity. Actually, I actually need some dirt for the elevated hiding holes coming up, so let's grab some. Why don't we? farlandsorbust.com, raising money for Child's Play. Whoa, charity. Woo, you guys taking a pot shot at me. Child's Play charity helps get toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world. We've been supporting Child's Play charity since June 2011, having raised over $375,000. Plus, of course, like I said, this $41,000 raised this season. We're trying to raise $60,000. This is season 6 of the series, after all. That makes the most sense, does it not? And then when we raise that $60,000 is when I will is when I will finally press F3 after the end of a live stream to see how far we've walked. F3 displays the coordinates. The last episode 613, was rife with issues and little bad luck happenstances. I was pretty much stubbing my toe throughout the entire episode. I'm trying to reverse that trend here, but so far these tongue twisters are not allowing me to do so. But yeah, you know the story. farlandsorbust.com. Donate to Child's Play charity. Help out a great cause. Ask a question with your donation that'll be answered in an episode of Farlands or Bust. And then also get us towards that goal and closer and closer and closer to pressing F3 finally. Isn't that something you'd like to see? Isn't it? Indeed. Wolfie would like to see it as well, so help out Wolfie as well, why don't you? So yeah, I appreciate all the donations, and I don't have too much in the way of story time as of late, so we're just gonna jump right into the questions from donors. Folks who have been so generous as to donate to Child's Play charity have asked the following questions. This one from Mary Catherine, who says, careful, whoa, I got all turned around. Where are you? Oh, there you are. I've adopted, you've adopted 2 kittens. When I had to name them, I thought, how would Kurt name them? So I named them Phobos and Deimos. Yes, indeed, Mos. I was wondering how exactly you came up with Eva's name. Eva's name, I mentioned before, I was looking for a name that was kind of space related. I was considering I was considering Io, something that was short and simple, but also had some sort of name that kind of related to things I liked. Space. Io was interesting. Io is a moon of Saturn, if I'm not mistaken. And the Greek mythology behind it is Io is the god of all things herding, cattles and cattle herding, shepherding almost, I guess. And that would have been appropriate because Eva's Australian cattle dog, a herding breed. Kind of a weird name. Ooh, look at this place. Kind of a weirder name. I was also thinking Ceres. Ceres was similarly... Ceres was the dwarf planet between Mars and Jupiter. Careful, Ceres, make a good dog name. Make a good dog name, I would think. But ended up with Eva. A little bit more obscure, but made sense as well. A little bit more. You could say EVA, like astronauts go on EVA, extra vehicular activities, when they go out on spacewalks or walk on the moon as they did or whatever. Were all considered EVAs. But also there's the Wall-E connotation there as well. Wall-E and Eva. So yeah, that was kind of the kind of appropriate name, I do believe. It's always kind of odd naming an adopted pet because they usually come with a name, or the adoption shelter or foster home will usually apply a name to them. Eva at first was Stitches, and then it was Ruby. Like the foster home named her Ruby because she was a red healer. Very, very original. But then went with Eva. Indeed. So that's where Eva got the name. Alright, this terrain is gorgeous and beautiful to behold, but it is difficult to traverse. Ruian asks, have you ever snowboarded or skied? If not, would you like to try it? Would you prefer snowboarding or skiing? I'm a snowboarder myself. Totally radical, dude. And lived in New Zealand. The season is just ending. And living in New Zealand, the season is just ending. True. You're just getting out of winter, I suppose. I'm not sure exactly. I'm assuming skiing is easier. It still requires balance and poise and grace. Many qualities that I do not possess, but it seems like less so than snowboarding. Requires a little bit more finesse on a single platform versus having two platforms to work with. But overall, it's not one of those things that are on my list of need to try or interested in trying or anything like that. So, not especially, to be honest with you. I'm not a particular fan of snow sports, per se. Snow can be okay if you don't have to drive through it, but snow sports, typically not a thing that I am a particular of interest in. I am interested in. So, but yeah, thank you very much for the donation and the question. Izzy asks, Woof, we gotta make a boat. We gotta make a boat here, Wolfie. How about a couple boats? Boat out of a bed. Let's make 3 boats. And let's also, since Wolfie took some damage. Hello. Good, you ate that. I was keeping an eye on my hearts to make sure that half heart didn't suddenly come back. I'm sorry, what were you asking? Izzy is asking, the Voyager mission set out, including a golden record on board with pictures and audio to tell alien races about humanity. What would you send into space if you had to make a similar collection, with or without similar storage constraints? 1 hour of audio and about 120 pictures. This is a question that I probably cannot answer in the short amount of time that I have of this episode. This question kind of brought to mind there's a Kickstarter actually going on that is a collection, a recreation of the Golden Record. That's an actual vinyl Golden Record collectible box set of not only the actual Golden Record, the sounds, the audio, and the data that's contained herein, but also there's like a very fancy box set that includes prints of all the images and information about the Golden Record and the Voyager missions and things like that. Seems very interesting. To get the entire box set, I believe it's like $80. I'm personally doing all in my might to resist, because I simply, excuse me, Wolfie, can't place blocks. Place blocks! Doing all I can to resist getting that Kickstarter box set for my own budgetary concerns, and also just less. I'm trying to get less things for the sake of things around the house. But yeah, this question brought that up to me. But let me sleep on this question, and I will answer it fully, or perhaps dodge it in the morning. Whoop! Why can't I sleep? And a Voyager-ness. Woof. What would I put on it? I'm not sure. Didn't they have to do... Well, have to is a strong word, but didn't they do something similar with New Horizons? Because New Horizons is also going to zip off into all of history, out and out and out of the solar system, although I think it's going to slow down much more dramatically. And the Voyager craft are actually going to be further and remain further for all of eternity. For as long as the universe exists, they're going to remain further out than New Horizons is, despite the fact that New Horizons had quite the velocity at get-go, the fact that it is making course adjustments to visit other KBOs, other outer solar system belt objects beyond Pluto, I think is going to change its trajectory and its speed much more dramatically than the Voyager missions are just pow! They are on their way. They are leaving in a hurry. But I honestly don't know. It's very difficult to say. And of course, it's a complete and utter hopeless as far as like if your mission is to have an intelligent species, any sort of life form. Oh, I'm sorry, Wolfie. I'm making a river here. Dang it. There you go. I'm making waterfalls. You got in the way. The Voyager missions aren't aimed at any star system in particular. And even if they were aimed at, say, the nearest star system, even now so that we've discovered that there is a moderately Earth-massed planet around Proxima Centauri, the closest star, it would still take, at their speed, something like hundreds of millions of years, perhaps even into the billions. Like the universe would end. the heat death of the universe and entropy would cause an abrupt ending far before, even at the speed they're traveling, the Voyager spacecraft were to reach the next star. So it's a completely and utterly hopeless, I suppose, addition to the mission. And also the shelf life in the deep of space of these records of vinyl, the data is going to be lost long before then even. But I still agree with, and I still appreciate, and I'm still encouraging of the idea and the thought, just the simple humanitarian thought behind projects like the Golden Record. Sure, it's a little teensy bit of extra weight, which is any teensy amount is a big deal. But I know, people like Carl Sagan, he was part of that program, really fought for putting the Golden Record on there, and then really fought for, again, turning the cameras around and taking a picture of the Earth from beyond Neptune's orbit the pale blue dot you get, you know, it's kind of, it's the human side of this scientific mission. Just a little fleck of hope and humanity, and you know, writing down "I was here" sort of thing. So, yeah, that fact that it's literally completely hopeless and pointless, I think, is not the point at all. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to deflect this question and not have any specific answers for you. I feel like certainly what was put on the golden records were good ideas, obviously well thought out by very, very smart people. I don't see why I would have any better ideas, because I am not one of those smart people by a long shot. So, yeah. That. Oh, man. White Fang asks, have you heard from Snarky Yellow Text recently? Wondering if you found a new job elsewhere. Channel needs a recap on Snarky. Snarky Yellow Text is difficult to come by. busy person. He did make an appearance in yesterday's or 2 days ago. I played the new version of the building game that Seth Bling built. He built a brand new version of the building game. Oddly enough, after it was asked of him at Minecon during our panel, the Mindcrack panel, he built a new version that works in the 1.11 snapshots of the building game. Played that, and because in large group settings I'm rather shy and quiet, I handed over the joke and commentary reins to Snarky Yellow Text, and Snarky Yellow Text had a few interjections of jokes and fun to be had there. But yeah, Snarky Yellow Text is certainly one of those things that has been informally retired, certainly on the mass scale of things. Had a big part in the early Farlands or Bust world, and even showed up in other episodes. Certainly showed up recently, well, over a year ago in a UHC rather prominently. But yeah, every once in a while. But it's simply, I've made many references to this and made many explanations as to why I don't use Snarky Yellow Text anymore. But yeah, I'll you know, too much of a good thing would be too much of a good thing. Could you imagine having done Snarky Yellow Texts for over 5.5 years here as we're in Farlands or Bust? I think the joke would have died. The joke did die, and we've moved on to different aspects. Obviously, if I'm now that we're in a podcast, we have a podcast edition. If I were to be depending on and utilizing a vast portion of my content to on-text display, the podcast listeners would really miss out on quite a significant portion of the content that I'm putting towards and even effort that I'm putting towards these. So I'm gonna stick with my fumbling, tongue twister filled vocals, I think, is the way I'll stick to it. Because boy howdy, I need some practice, I guess, or something. I'm trying to get back on the we had a good kick going there for a while of the Farlands or Bust stuff, and then things happen, as they often do, and now we're slowly trying to get back on it. Get back on that horse that kicked you off and stampled upon your skull. That's right, stampled is a word, right? If not, I just made it up. Oh, excuse me, Wolfie. Peter and Kat ask, do you have much of a garden/yard to maintain, and do you enjoy such things? Do you love gardening, or do you hate it? Well, in Phoenix, gardening is a bit of a chore. I mean, you can do it, like, between the months of November and April, surprisingly. But then the other months, anything that you plant that isn't a hearty cactus or succulent will die. It will shrivel up. It will burst. It would literally burst into flames. So it's kind of difficult to do gardening. Also, I'm renting, so I can't go digging up the yard and planting all sorts of in-ground gardens and shrubberies and other such things. And also there's no... It's a desert yard. It's gravel. There's not a single blade of grass in the yard. There's a couple trees. There's some citrus trees, useless, inedible, poisonous citrus trees for decoration that were here when I got here. A nice fern, and that's it. Do have some pots that ended up putting, again, succulent cactus in. I did recently mention how did have some herbs. I would like to try an herb garden, but then again, I don't use herbs too much. I'm not much of a spice or garnish guy when it comes to foods. Pepper, I rarely, if ever, use pepper even. So, yeah, I mean, that would be nice. That's kind of a garden for a purpose, I guess. But had some old basil leaves that were growing and were overgrown, and I never used them. So I ended up grilling out yesterday, and I thought, basil kind of smells good, right? So if I just throw these basil leaves, chop them down, get rid of them, I don't want the plants anymore. Just throw these basil leaves on the fire. Surely that will make some interesting aromatic textures, at least while I'm getting the fire going, right? No, not recommended, my friends. Not recommended to throw fresh basil directly onto burning charcoal. That was a bit disgusting. Not recommended at all. It doesn't smell like basil. It actually smells, I mentioned this in my stream last night as well, smells a lot like another herb that is often burnt, but for recreational use. And I was actually surprised, and got me a little bit sick. I'm not a fan of that scent, if you know exactly what scent I'm speaking of. A bit of a gross, just a gross, skunky smell that permeated my clothes and got stuck in my nostrils and almost pretty much ruined the dinner. So, not recommended at all, my friends. Not recommended. But let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And recreational herbsness. Oh, man. But yeah, the whole gardening side of things and stuff. Oh, look at this. Look at this. We see it. We see it, everybody. That means we have to explore it. That's neat. That's actually significant. This is sea level. That's actually kind of high up there for a dungeon to exist. Hey, Wolfie, come on over here. I'm going to have you... No. Enough with the bath time. There we go. Have a seat. This is peculiar. Oh, it's a zombie. It's a zombie. Alright, let's take care of this. In general, I never much cared for gardening, to be honest with you. Yard work, I never liked mowing the lawn. Why can't I not? I guess I'm not close enough. Get lost. Alright, let's just do this the dangerous way. This is actually quite dangerous. Alright, yeah, now let's do it. I forgot that these take so long to break in this version of the game. This would be an excellent sidey hole if this was the end of the episode. Alright, let's see what we got here, my friends. What have we got? We've certainly got a lot of feathers. Let's open it up in case we need a hasty retreat, just in case. Alright. It's episode 614, still not due for another golden apple, but we'll see, Alright. Alright. Let's make a little altar out of it to make it seem very important and special. Alright, cemetery! Oh. Got some redstone, not a single useful thing was had that day. That's a shame. That's a damn shame. Alright. Pleasure doing business with you. But we are going to get out of here and carry on. Let's grab Wolfie. We all used all those boats already? Jeez. Alright, let's continue this way then. But yeah, never was a fan of like mowing the lawn and stuff, so I'll be happy if I never have to like mow the lawn for the rest of my life or anything like that. Or have a lawn, even. Or if I do, I'll just have somebody else mow it for me. In general, or even like planting decorative things, anything like that, I'm not too interested in. Like I said, it's kind of interesting to have, like, food-style growths. You know what I mean? Farming, or not farming, gardening type of... Not gardening is a hard word. When I say garden, a lot of times when you say garden in at least the United States, you are talking about like a vegetable garden or a food garden or an herb garden. Sometimes that can also mean like planting flowers or little bushes or decorative items around the house. But whenever I think of do you have a garden? I think that there's like a plot of land where you're growing tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff like that, which I'm not sure how that is in the rest of the world. But yeah, I mean, I've considered, I use tomatoes a lot. I'm always buying tomatoes for my sandwiches at the grocery store. Should I just have a tomato plant? Should I just grow a tomato plant? Would a tomato plant even survive here in Phoenix? Probably not, to be honest with you, but I could perhaps grow tomatoes over the winter time here. But yeah, otherwise, I have other hobbies and things that I would rather give preference to, I believe. But thank you very much, Peter and Kat, for that question. Andy from Cologne, Germany. I remember you talking about taking a special interest in clothes/fashion back in the day. Has this interest meanwhile succumbed to the hot weather of Phoenix, shorts and t-shirt weather? Or are you still into things such as these? If so, what are your latest fashion-related purchases? Do you own any cloths of European or other non-US brands? Clothes. I know that's how you say that word. I'm not that bad at reading. It has subsided, mostly out of budgetary concerns, but also I'm still trying to dial in a personal style, and certainly moving to Phoenix has affected it, because a lot of, at least in my personal opinion, what I would consider like being able to have flexibility with style or fashion or clothes depends on layers, jackets, sweaters, those sorts of things. There's no need for those here. There's no need for those here at all. So that really takes a back seat, and I have kind of just subsided to the jeans and t-shirt. And certainly, I don't like shorts too much. I actually never really even wore or owned shorts in my adult life until moving to Phoenix, when it became a survival necessity. But yeah, like, I don't really like being out in public in shorts on account of my scrawny chicken legs. But just also, it doesn't feel adult enough for me, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So yeah, jeans and t-shirt. I have recently found Gustin denim. They're a website. You know, I've talked about my jeans every now and again. I had a brand from Left Field that I was really happy with. I wore those to death, but I tried to buy them again, but they changed their fit. They're kind of cut that I just does not agree. It does not agree with my physique. And so I've looked elsewhere, and I was looking at Gustin, and they're weird because they do like a Kickstarter style store where you can, but there are some overstock stuff that you can just buy and they'll ship to you, but you have to like fund their projects. They'll get specialty denims from, the US obviously, but Japan is also a big place to get denim from. And then they'll build limited supplies of a certain style of jean, and they'll only build what is requested. So, like, I bought a pair of jeans, I didn't see them for 2.5 months because that campaign needed to end, and then they needed to manufacture them based on how many people bought what different sizes. So it's kind of a good thing because it's, like, really cheap. Like, usually a lot of it's all made in the USA. So their really quality denim stuff is like at or less than $100, which is pretty good. Which is pretty good considering that like left field, a lot of their stuff is about $200. And then when you get into like actual little bit more denim style stuff, you can get much higher than that for the good stuff. For the good salvage denim. Gosh, what is I give up. I quit. This is my vocals do not wish to adhere to the English language anymore. Apparently, is that a tunnel? I don't think that's a tunnel. That would be neat if that was a tunnel. So yeah, I've gone through Gustin. I got one of their very kind of standard denim jeans, but then they also, over the summer, that's another thing, is they release based on the seasons. They had a summer lightweight jean, which I'm like, yes, I live in Phoenix, this is necessary, as opposed to the like 12, 13 ounce denim that you normally get. They also have like heavyweight, rigid 18 ounce denim. This is like a 9 ounce or an 8 ounce denim. And they've been my go-to pair of jeans. Also the pair of jeans that Pyro spilled an entire glass of wine on. Thank you very much. But they've been my go-to jeans for quite a while now for the warmer weather, because they're like very thin and lightweight, but they're still jeans, so I can still look presentable in my own eye. So yeah, I've liked Gustin denim. I can recommend them. I could probably like give you guys a referral code that would give me like money off future orders. I probably won't though. But yeah, I've pretty much relegated to t-shirt and jeans weather sort of clothes. I mean, I still like follow a lot of those blogs and Tumblrs and things, style stuff. But I think even the internet has had a really interesting bubble that burst with that as well. There was a really big menswear hashtag bubble that burst around that time. And then since then, I've also kind of grown out of it and have tried to kind of appropriate my own style to be a little bit more casual, a little bit more youthful, I suppose, trying to counter the sands of time that are slowly eroding at my own existence. So yeah, I mean, that stuff still interests me. Have I any non-US stuff? Not really. Most of the stuff I like to buy, if it's going to be like a quality thing, has been US related. I would really like to be able to afford a Filson double. Oh my gosh, English! How do you do it? Duffel bag. Filson is a made in the USA company, and I could really use a lot for these like weekend trips to conventions and stuff. Just a nice carry-on duffel bag, and but they're pricey. They're not cheap, but they're supposed to like last you forever and ever and ever, and they probably do, and they have done. But yeah, let's maybe not make the hidey hole under sand that can topple upon us. I'm trying to get to dirt here. Here we go. Here's some stone that we can actually dig a hidey hole in. Sand doesn't work. Oh, there you go, Wolfie. Good job. Yeah, I'd like to be able to afford one of those one time. Oh my. Is this? Yeah, that is going to fall, isn't it? Oh my. What sort of a happenstance is this that I've just dug directly in to a pre-built hidey hole? I'm going to make this fall because I want to. Or maybe I'll just... Oh, okay, there it goes. There it goes. We're fine. We're fine. I need to... that could still fall there. Can I make sandstone with this? I most certainly can. Ha! Alright, alright. We're doing some work here, my friends. I mean, Wolfie could probably even come in here. Alright, this is all sandstone above me, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Alright, we've got a stable build here that I think we're alright with. Come on in, Wolfie. I'll probably have to get rid of this water. No, Wolfie. This way. This way. Hello. Hello, Wolfie. There we go. Well done. Alright, guard the entrance. Should we sleep near some water? I think it's a good idea to fill it in, actually. I don't know what sort of craziness happens when you sleep next to water, if any sort of glitches will be incurring. Let's maybe not tempt fate with that. All right, neat stuff. We didn't need that spawner in the side of the mountain anyway. We found this. Was there any part of that? European or other non-US brands? I would also, speaking of like non-US brands, I would really like to own, I don't wear ties that much at all, ever. But in the occasion that I would, I'd like to own a Drake's. It's a place called Drake's London. Just a solid blue grenadine tie. Just really nice ties is all that they are, but they come all the way from jolly old London. I own a few decent ties, but that's like a really nice, that's a nice tie. Just a nice, it's not too formal either because it's a knit tie, but just a nice necktie would be great, right, Wolfie? You're kind of wearing some nice neckwear there. It's blue. It's navy. Is that a woven? Is that woven? What is that? Did you get that from London? Did you? But otherwise, yeah. Thank you very much for that question. Yeah, most people kind of forgot about that. I did talk about that a little bit. It was kind of an earlier obsession of mine. A little bit. Kind of, I guess it was a distraction for myself from the tedium that was my full-time job at the time when I was just starting out Farlands or Bust. But I've since sold a lot of stuff that that was just like, oh, really nice purchase, but I don't wear it, because it's 110 degrees out here. I'm not going to wear a sport coat or anything like that out. So, indeed, right, Wolfie? Let's shed some light on this situation, and let's remind everybody to keep going to farlandsorbust.com to donate to Child's Play charity. Remember, helping us get to that $60,000 goal this season, where we could finally press F3 to see how far we've walked. And of course, as we continue donating, that continues to inspire me to make more regular episodes here. And with more regular episodes comes more regular practice at this whole commentary thing, which I'm clearly stumbling over on a minute-by-minute basis, as this episode has really showed. Hey, that rhymed. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching and for your support. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. It would literally